So I've just been down this major rabbit hole regarding Epic charting in nursing. Okay, so Epic is the software. Well, where I'm at, we do paper charting. It's the Stone Age. But most every hospital uses Epic. Nurses know what Epic is. Okay, it's been around forever. Quite the history. Yeah, let me show you. So it started here. Judy Faulkner makes Forbes' most powerful women's list. Okay. She is the Epic founder and CEO. Judy Faulkner has been named Forbes. Like, she's on that right now. This is current, obviously December 13th. So first of all, whenever any of these magazines or these people highlight these people, when I look into them, I mean, even before, digging into people, like, where you find they're connected to a bunch of other stuff that isn't good. Oftentimes these titles and these awards they're given, I mean, she's a billionaire, okay, but then she controls every healthcare record really in the world, almost definitely in America, 250 million. So but these people are very phony, okay, and not very creative, but they're put on this pedestal. Really, they're just put on a pedestal because they're billionaires, okay? in her case. So, and let me I'm going to move through this really quick because, again, it was a rabbit hole. So I just wanted to point this out, just a couple of things here, because these people are so phony all the time. They just are. I'm not trying to be mean. She's a globalist, though. So I don't really mind when I call, because they're globalists. They're all connected to the same thing. I'll show right now. So one of her styles for leadership, okay, this is she dresses up. Mm-hmm. Now this may seem like, oh, that's cute. Yeah, I don't think so. You'll see why in a minute. It's helpful because of entertaining. Several hours of discussing software could be boring. Why don't you stop putting nurses through that bullshit? Like, here's the problem, Judy. While you're on the cover of Forbes, you brought in Epic, and I'm not against, the computer charting, but we had many different ones around, and had you not, monopolized it all into one, there wouldn't be everybody's data has been missing, right? Yeah, so that was a really bad idea, but you get to be on the cover of Forbes. Okay, so there's that big mistake. But she's not a nurse or anything. She's just a business billionaire. So that controls everybody's healthcare data, the record anyway. But why don't, stop with this stuff? Like, all you do is you add more boxes to Epic. This is the problem with all these regulations, is what the computer software has done, because they just add more and more and more. And I think the very people over time that have been running healthcare, they get worse because I don't think they want you to help people. I've thought that for a long time, though. The people at the top. So they make all this monotonous, stupid bullshit you have to do that really does not need to be done, but they find excuses and reasons why it has to be done. And that all takes away from patient care, which is really, I mean, if most nurses got into nursing to help patients, not sit in front of Epic, and then you have to go to hours of this training crap. So, the one thing she could do instead of putting people through the hours of training is that's why we need to get rid of regulation, so we can get the nurse back to the bedside and not every little box being checked. So this one up here is the big one. So Ms. Faulkner credited her company with advancing healthcare interoperability by encouraging health systems to embrace data exchange. Okay, so now, first of all, this data exchange, well, yeah, in some cases with a sister hospital, when I've worked with, because I've worked at many hospitals with Epic, you still can't see all the record. But the people that likely can see the whole record is the big monopoly and the people at the top. The people that shouldn't be having access to it, really. There's no evidence for that, but again, these people are all tied to the globalist data mining. What is your genome kind of stuff? I mean, really, the reason this word stands out to me is, first of all, it's part of it's all through, just like sustainability is all in the globalist stuff they write. Interoperability is also in there. And I first came across this word because of the CEO at Northwestern Hospital. I looked into his background. He was probably the very first one that I started researching, not planning to go any, further than that. But there were things he was tied to besides Northern Trust Bank and Northern Trust Fund and like 10 different, he was on the 10 different biggest boards, like one of the central banks, I believe, something like that. But one of them was something with the brain train or something like that, and I couldn't access that website. Now I can't hardly find anything on him. He's in another state now, ruining another hospital that he's CEO of over. He's just a bad person. But intraoperability, he was tied to a company. I couldn't access the website. So that was really red flags for me. He was on the board of 2 things that were tied to the globalist agenda. So that was the beginning of the rabbit hole. Well, the rabbit hole just takes on more and more. So let me introduce you to Judy Faulkner. This is Judy. 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 Okay. A little bit more about Judy. In 1979, shortly after receiving her master's degree, Faulkner co-founded Human Services Computing with Dr. John Griest. Human Services Computing, which later became Epic Systems, began in a basement at 2020 University Avenue in Madison, Wisconsin. Hey, I did a travel assignment to their ER a couple of years ago. The company was started with a $70,000 investment from friends and family, but has never taken investment in venture capital or private equity and remains a privately held company. In fact, Faulkner prides herself in the fact that Epic is homegrown. They have never acquired another company, and Faulkner has stated they will never go public. Well, I wouldn't imagine they do when you are responsible, as it says here. Oh, I was wrong, not 250 million, 325 million. It's almost the whole country. This is Judy Faulkner's parents, Lou and Del Greenfield, okay? The Greenfields grew up on the East Coast during the Depression. Del and Lou's parents were all Ukrainian Jewish immigrants, and Del's mother was a sweatshop organizer. Sort of like Pritzker. Pritzker was a Ukrainian Jewish immigrant too. JB, the Pritzker family. Mm-hmm. He went on to be a pharmacist, but then decided to get into real estate. Yeah. All total liberal, which is no big deal, but again, well, more socialist. They're always on an agenda. Then when Lou retired, at about 70, he went on to volunteer. Of course, the socialist work is never done. Lou served on the board of examiners for nursing home administrators for the state of Oregon and put countless hours in support of physicians for social responsibility. It's all about social justice. Yep. You know what social justice is tied to? So we should not have social justice tied. Well, it already is because it's in all the nursing. But you know what? All you people used to, no wonder the healthcare system is going into the toilet. And as you could see here, Lou was married 65 years to a peace activist, Del Greenfield. Lou became involved in the peace movement as well. Through the years, they worked hard together for the cause of world understanding and social justice. And lastly, just a couple of things to point out with Judy Faulkner's family tree. There's the dad or Del or mom, my dad or mom, Del, and Lou were her parents. Finkelstein. And then what's Fanny X up there? X? What a coincidence. I don't know.